This is the magicwordpodcast.com.
We are beginning day 3 of the Magistrorum, which is going to be another full day. And we started off this morning with Melody Berg, who was a 9-year-old young lady who has really been getting her magic legs by performing at the convention. She was at the SAM last year on the Stars Tomorrow. She also learned a lot at Mystify when she was at an earlier convention this last year that Leah Orleans and others had sponsored. Anyhow, if you can listen to a little bit of the conversation I had with her then yesterday, and then followed by that was Doug Gorman, who was a great storyteller. It kept you on the edge of your seat and had some really good effects that went with it, and kept the house just enthralled, I think, all morning. But one of the people, to me, that was one of the stars of yesterday's show was a fellow I've got with me now, Jordan Jonas, and you can go back and take a look at the pictures that are on the website of some of the things I took with him, and I've got him with me right now. Hello, Jordan.
Here I am, live and in color.
And
yeah,
and you're a very colorful character.
Yeah, I am.
Sure.
I'm wearing some color. I have some red on today. Normally just black, but here we are.
Yes, well,
yeah.
And you have developed quite a character. How long did it take you to develop a character like that?
I'm still trying to figure it out.
Are you really?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm still trying to figure it out. So
do you know who you are? I mean, what are you trying to be?
I don't know
at this point.
Who am I? Okay. Why are we here? What's the meaning of life?
That's the whole meaning of life. I mean, 42.
Yeah.
Okay, right?
Right. No. So I'm heavily inspired by a guy by the name of Tobias Forge of the band Ghost. And I try to incorporate that into my act a little bit because I'm trying to bring... There's so much theatrics with that band, and I try to bring that to magic as much as I can. But I have a lot of inspirations, Alice Cooper and David Bowie, and I've always been inspired by musical acts.
Like musical acts, huh?
Yeah, but then Eugene Berger and Max Maven, and I try to sprinkle in all of my.
Have you met some of them, or just kind of from what you have seen and read
just
about
what
them?
I've seen? I wish I had the chance to meet Eugene Berger.
Yeah, you were in Chicago.
Yeah,
I mean, you were right there.
That's why I moved to Chicago in the first place.
Is that right? To meet Eugene?
I wanted to be in that scene because everyone thinks Las Vegas is the place to be for magicians. It's tapped out, but Chicago, that's the place to be. I
think it's an epicenter of magic. There's no question. I mean, that's
all of my heroes got their. That's where they worked, especially Eugene.
Well, Eugene worked doing close-up and strolling, and also
right, and bar magic. I love doing bar magic.
When you do bar magic, you don't have on the makeup and all the character and everything.
I do.
Do
no,
really?
I do. It's still there.
Okay.
Yeah, I still.
Are people not freaked out when you walk up to them? They're going,
they are. No, they don't. They don't like
you
it.
Intentionally do
yeah,
that?
right.
Yeah.
Intentionally, yes. Yeah. Even the other night, I walked up to a group and I was like, "Okay, we're doing some witchcraft and some stuff," and we're like, "No, we don't. No." And I'm like, "No, I promise it's fun." And they're like, "No, it's not." And then I use Eugene's line, "Thank you for your honesty." And then I just, walk away because you got to respect. You have
that.
To. Yeah. That's okay because I look a certain way. It's kind of abrupt. It's like, oh, okay, get away from me.
You almost look like a cartoon character. As I had
almost
said last night,
yes.
I feel like that if Beetlejuice and Dan Sperry had a love child, it would be you.
That's me. That's me. And don't tell them that. Yeah. Well, Dan, I've never met Dan, but he might hear this at some point.
Probably will.
One
of my better podcasts.
I'm your long lost child, Dan. Please help me. I've been looking for you, Father. I need you, Daddy.
Well, he has certainly developed a character over the years, and
right.
He has settled into his comfort zone. And it seems like that you probably are not far away because you have a definite character.
Yeah, I just hope I'm not. I hope it doesn't seem like I'm ripping him off.
No. I didn't mean to imply that at all.
Oh, no.
It's just
I always worry about that deep down.
No, it's just an overboard character. In other words, most magicians don't go far enough with their magic in general, and particularly in developing a character. I mean, you're all in.
Right, yeah, I'm all in, baby.
And I like your music, by the way, too. I have meant to say that whenever you played the last thing, when you're doing the needle swallowing, and you're using music from Eyes Wide Shut.
Eyes Wide Shut, yeah. It's a creepy song.
It is very creepy.
And again,
it was perfect for that.
I pulled that inspiration from the band Ghost, because they played that song. They used to as their pre-show music before they went on, and it really set the tone because they burn incense and it's this whole thing.
Midnight Syndicate's got a lot of really cool stuff, but that was just perfect for that.
Yeah, it's a great.
Do you listen to a lot of music then? Obviously, you were inspired by musicians.
I don't listen to anything.
No, I don't.
I'm bad at listening to anything.
Really?
Yeah.
So you do a lot of reading.
Yeah, I do reading. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I read. I try to listen.
When you're performing, where do you said bars and...
Yeah, man, I ramble about, like I said, living in Chicago for about a year and a half, and but, I was in Atlanta last week, and I'm just doing, I'm living the dream right now. Yeah. This is what I've always wanted, and travel and do shows in different places, and...
Because you have a character, I think, that would be perfect for a theater type of performance. Do you have a 90-minute show that you do?
I do. Yeah, I have different shows. Yeah, I have the close-up show. I have the bizarre seance show. And the sexual show. Well, no, let's not talk about that. That's we don't need to mention that. But it's
doesn't involve animals.
It's in the well, maybe possibly maybe. Yeah, it's in the ether.
Okay.
Yeah. But
so have you started to work with any kind of theaters, or thought about that, or talking to agents?
I have. Back home in Albuquerque, I've performed at the one of the main theaters is the Chemo Theater. KIMO, not like chemotherapy.
Okay.
But chemo means king of its kind, and it's a Native American Art Deco. It's beautiful. One of the best theaters that I've ever performed at, and I've done intimate. I like intimate a little bit more, but whatever.
You ever do seances?
Whatever stage I have, seances as well. I missed Terry Tyson's
workshop on that.
Workshop, and I'm kind of bummed about that. I'll get over it.
Well, you'll probably offer it again. I mean, next year we're going to be having Poe's conference, Magic Conference. You haven't been to that yet.
No,
that's a good one. And then the East Coast Spirit Session is another good one in Myrtle Beach.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about East Coast.
So you were saying that this really is one of the very few conventions you've attended.
It is. Yeah, I don't normally do magic conventions because, honestly, this is just between you and me.
Okay.
I don't like magicians very much. I don't like hanging out with them, but this has changed my mind about that, because bizarre magicians are not like regular magicians, because they tend to be assholes, and they have an ego and all this shit. And I don't like that, and I don't want to be surrounded by that.
Right.
But everyone I've met thus far here, it's been beautiful. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they've made me feel better about myself.
That's good.
So that's good.
They've affirmed you personally.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you've been to the dealer room, obviously, and they probably had some pretty cool things.
I've been trying to avoid the dealer room because
just keep your hands in your pockets.
I only have so much money to spend, and it's easy to get lost in spending money with bizarre magic, especially.
It is, and some of the things get to be kind of expensive if you get some of the electronic boards and things like that. Right. But even the accoutrement around there that are the stuffed animals or dolls' heads or whatever. But
remember, I own Jack the Ripper's DVD collection.
Oh, okay.
And that was very expensive to acquire that,
Well, that was his personal collection. Yeah. Not everybody can say they've seen that.
That's not off the shelf. You can't just... I had to go through a lot of twists and turns to acquire that. And you helped me out with that, so that was fun.
Well, that was fun. I enjoyed it. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it, Jordan.
I
wish you nothing but good luck in the future then as well. I'm glad that you shared what you did over here with us. And if any of the other conventions who are listening to this are interested in Jordan, where can they get in touch with you?
I have a website. It's Jordan jordanjonas.com, because there was I guess there's a hunter or some wildlife guy named Jordan Jonas who took my domain. So it's jordan-jonas.com, but I'm also on Instagram, jordanjonas13, and Facebook under the same handle.
Okay, so people can locate you there if they're interested in perhaps booking you for their convention. If you're going to be having something just a little bit different, highly recommend that you guys who might be organizers listen to this to consider that if you want something that is a little bit different and enjoyable.
A little bit. Well, maybe. Perhaps enjoyable. Different strokes for different folks.
There you go, John. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Jordan. For the Magic Word Podcast, that was Jordan Jonas. Scotty out. One of the dealers we have here is a fellow that I've got with me then right now who's been enjoying Magistrorum, and that is Ross Horwitz, actually all the way from Tucson. As we said, we got people from all across the U.S. who are here in Dallas who have convened for this annual conference, and this is, again, the largest of this conference they've had, in which they've sold out of over 200 people. But anyhow, here he is. Here's Ross. Hey, Ross.
Hey.
So you enjoying this one?
Very much.
Have you been to this before?
Haven't been here. Been to East Coast Spirit Sessions, which is a similar demographic.
It's a long way from Tucson to get out to Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, but it's well worth it. And plus, we're dealers, so we can justify the trip if it's got the right market.
Now, I was talking with some of the dealers there yesterday and saying about how that everyone has really a unique kind of a thing that necessarily isn't for your general practitioner of magic if you go to the IBM or SAM convention that's selling thumb tips and ropes and things like that. So what specialty items do you have or make or sell?
Oh, we have mentalism products. One of the major things we have is we renovate. We take 150-year-old products that were actually used in seances at the time of the Fox sisters in the 1850s. In fact, the item is patented in 1850. That's when they were manufactured. And we recondition them and restore them. And they were used to connect the animal magnetism and energy in a seance circle. So, and they're great. And so it's a very limited market, seance performers. So this is here and Myrtle Beach are pretty much the places.
Well, there's Poe's Magic Conference also out in Baltimore. If you haven't been to that, that's a good one.
We haven't made it up to Poe's.
I would recommend that. That's going to be, I think, next April or so. I'd highly recommend. I've been there once before, too, and Vince Wilson does a great job with that. And a lot of the same people who are here you will see there then, too. Right. It's a little bit smaller conference, as has been in the past. But anyhow, the kinds of things that you have, I would think that the real secret is how you find and come across these items. I guess.
We have a network of people, antique dealers, and people that know we're looking for them. But
antique shops in every place.
Right, and but it's great. And without going into what makes a seance work and revealing that, they are perfect for effectuating an actually great way of performing a seance.
Now, it was funny because you and I were talking, and I used the word funny because you say that you prefer comedy, and seances are serious business, and that's not necessarily being funny, but do you put any comedy in your...
Oh, absolutely.
Do you?
If you don't have people laughing in mentalism, it's just, you can't hold somebody's attention without a little suspension of disbelief and a little bit of relief of tension. I mean, tension builds more when it's staggered. It's stepping up, as opposed to you just start hitting people with serial killers or that kind of thing from the start, and you don't give them some relief. Then you lose them. I think you need the comedy in magic. I think comedy magic is great in general, because what it does is it allows the person who's performing the magic and the audience is watching a marvelous illusion, but they're laughing. And so what that does is it puts a delay on well, wait a minute, how'd they do that? Because they're busy enjoying and laughing at the moment, and then when they're walking out, they're going, hey, but where did all those bottles come from?
But do you think it takes away from the believability of a seance if there is some laughter built in?
Yeah, but the laugh lines we put into our seances are not. They're historic in nature. Mm-hmm. So we make jokes about the Victorian era,
the era,
the way they looked at death. Mm-hmm. And so let me think of one. So, for example, Julia, what joke do we do about when they're? Do you edit this? I hope.
Okay.
So it's nervous laughter at times in a seance, but it's a relief of tension. Mm-hmm. And so you can build the tension more when you do that. When you relieve the tension, then the next step up is even higher in terms of anxiety and tension.
So as we were talking earlier about Jordan Jonas last evening, you really liked his performance, I guess, because it was pretty funny.
Yeah, he's hilarious. His stage persona is hilarious. Mm-hmm. But the thing is...
It was like the creepy doll on Saw, to me. The guy that's that doll on the tricycle in the movie Saw. But anyhow.
Right. You're laughing, but you're still amazed. Mm-hmm. And it almost makes it... The amazement stays with you when you're not... Okay, bam, great illusion. Mm-hmm. It's more like, God, I was laughing... But wait a second, didn't he do this,
right,
this effect? And then you go, that's amazing. And that stays with you longer, I think, than if you just do an effect.
All the time.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, I see your point there. Yeah, you remember those moments as opposed to one thing is kind of monotonous, if you will, the monotone, or the same.
Well, it isn't that it numbs you when you see the effect, mm-hmm, but you're not. There's humor. I mean, there's a reason the Greeks said humor and tragedy. I mean, there's humor, and then the amazement comes in and fills in afterwards.
Yeah.
And so it's coming from a different part of the brain or something, but it's more amazing when you think about it in hindsight because you're filling it in.
Right.
So, yeah. And so that's why I think comedy belongs in mentalism, because otherwise it's such a serious subject. Mm-hmm. Death and dying and that kind of stuff. If you can't give a little bit of relief to people,
that may be why some people don't want to get into mentalism, because they think, okay, well, I'm not that kind of a serious performer. We don't need to be, and you shouldn't be a serious performer, is what you're saying.
No, well, he was great last night.
Well, Jordan was, yeah.
Because he's hilarious the whole time.
I'm saying in general, for someone who is wanting to get into mentalism, you're going to have to learn to script and to think on your feet and to react to the audience and have something that you want to say in a direction where you want to take them as well.
Right,
and,
absolutely.
And then on that journey, have those peaks of hilarity.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's
what I hear you saying. Okay.
Yeah, and a lot of magicians don't like mental effects.
True.
Because they think they have to be done macabre and serious, and they don't. You can do comedy and still the effect's the effect. I mean, it's a trick.
Yeah.
And the effect of doing the trick is amazement if you do it right.
Well put.
Okay, so so why not have them laughing and enjoying it and then also being amazed? It just seems like a higher level. And so
the things that you guys sell, what is the website, or where can people, if they want to look at what you got or order online?
They can't.
Okay.
They have to come to a convention,
okay,
because that's what we sell at conventions.
And this and the East Coast Spirit Session, are there only two that you regularly attend?
We've been to Magic Live. I mean, we've been the SAM National Convention. We've been to different conventions.
Okay. So see you at your booth, basically.
See us at the booth, and or we're gonna we have some products coming out that are more broad appeal, and we'll probably be doing it old-fashioned way. We'll run some full-page ads in the Magic magazines.
Yeah, well, there you go. Ross, thanks very much. And I'm enjoying the convention. I'm sure that you are as well.
Absolutely.
You going to come back next year?
Yes, absolutely.
Everybody who is here is saying the same thing. Said, "Man, I'm coming next year," and so they're going to be even
sold
bigger.
out this year, so they're going to need a bigger place to do it. I
They
think.
are. I don't know if they can make the room larger, maybe open the air wall and make more room or something. But
Or a
yeah.
bigger hotel. There's
Or a
always bigger hotels.
Well,
So.
this Marriott is a good-sized hotel, and it's a beautiful one, certainly, and located near the DFW for people who are flying in. It's not too far away here in Irving.
Right.
So, but anyhow, thank you very much, Ross. I appreciate
Thank you, and continue your good works.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. So, the Magic Word Podcast. That was Ross Horwitz. This is Scotty Allen. Magistrorum is sponsored by Andrew Derutter and your wife Susan. Is that right?
She's my partner.
My partner,
about,
right?
12 years. Yeah.
And so she's been helping him with this convention, and this is the third year of it. And he kicked it off yesterday with a few welcoming statements, which we're going to get into in just a minute. But first of all, I want to welcome you also. Thank you very much for putting on the convention. Here's Andrew Derutter. Hi, Andrew.
Okay. How you doing, man? Good to see you.
Thank you.
It's good to be here.
So, yes, yesterday, whenever you were welcoming everybody, what I wanted to do is to recap what you had said when you said, or any questions, you said, someone said, what is bizarre magic? And your answer was, I thought, classic.
I got multiple answers for that, but there's always the one that I enjoy telling people because it's a little inspired, you know. But Eugene Berger inspired that answer, and basically bizarre magic is something similar to all magic is bizarre in a way. I started doing magic very young, just like the rest of us, you know, and I do sleight of hand. But when you take a coin or an object and you make it disappear, you know, that is not normal.
True.
You know, it's supernatural is what it is. You made something disappear or float even. So that, in a sense, is bizarre. Bizarre is more about how you present it. And if you include a story that is, you're a little bit more inspiring, and you include history, and you include a little bit of spooky, all of that is bizarre, you know. But it is not. It's hard to classify it as a genre, you know, like card magic or coin magic or twisting balloons. Everybody here started doing that. I just think right now, observing everybody, it's more about your age. Since you love doing magic so much, you kind of justify it by doing like stories and different things like a little bit of darkness, like ghost tours and things like that. Because seances. You don't do card magic anymore the way you used to, but you still have a passion for it. But throughout my history in dealing with magicians and reading, and there's always been, these butting of heads of the different genres. Like Susan doesn't like card magic anymore because I've showed her too many card tricks.
Okay.
I'm like, wait a minute, this is a bizarre magician, a mentalist doing card magic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm talking about. We've all started with magic. And in fact, you can't have one without the other. You just can't.
Well, I think that the definition of bizarre magic is often misconstrued with cultish or satanic or some sort of weird thing that is anti-religious, and people want to stay away from that. I mean, there's already kind of a sense of when you walk to a table of some people who are super religious and you want to just do a card trick, so no, we don't believe in cards or whatever. I mean, but if you start getting something bizarre like this, they certainly don't understand. But that's not at all what this is about.
Not at all. In fact, there's a lot of different people who are in the mystic arts who goes through the same sort of labeling. Even witches are the same way. They do study magic. Some of the magic gets separated, right? After you start learning all the card tricks and the other kinds of magic, you start getting deeper into the other ways of doing magic with different objects. So you go to an antique store, you pick up this really unique-looking box, and you know something I can make with this box. You just don't know what. So that's when your mind starts going into the bizarre world. It's like, what can I make for this?
Yeah.
So there's an example when you walk outside and you see like a feather on the ground. You're like, okay, so that came from a bird in the sky. I can put that together with a story, but from my Native American background, I know that depending on the bird, that feather is a blessing. Mm-hmm. So you can tie that into
I see.
You can tie it into sort of a story, Mm-hmm. Eagles are like that.
Right. Now, as far as booking the talent and everything for this, obviously you have quite a wide variety. I mean, this morning we saw Melody, who is 9 years old, Melody Berg, and then you've got other people who are different ends of the spectrum from the standpoint of whether they're doing some sort of comedy mentalism and others that are more serious storytelling kind of a thing. How do you go about selecting those who are lecturing and performing here?
So I have a formula that I select. It was developed by a friend of mine, and we were doing escape rooms together and figuring out how people can enjoy games. But what we did is we challenged ourselves to create an escape room game where other people can play another escape room games together. So there's 2 games going on in one place.
Okay.
And then we had a whole chart of how we can do that. This is the same chart we use. It's a little bit difficult to explain, but we do want to have everybody a chance to get on the stage. If you have a passion for magic and you've never been on stage before, we'll put you on the stage early just to get your feet wet, to figure out what it is you're going to do. Because if you get on stage and you freeze up, which we all do, we still get nervous on stage, everybody does, but eventually it goes away, But that's when you learn what kind of magic you're going to be doing, what you're capable of doing. So if you go on stage and you fumble, you can either give up, which you should never do, or you can take another branch. You can become an author, a teacher, or just creator, And eventually you're going to find yourself back on the stage again. Because when you step foot on an empty stage and you look over the seats,
right,
you're going to get that tingle. We all get that tingle. It's like, oh, okay, I belong here.
Yeah.
I've seen it when I was a kid, and from then on I knew I had to be on that stage.
Right.
And that feeling goes to everyone. So when I built the Parlor of Entertainment here in Louisville, Texas, that is, and during COVID, I just built this huge theater, and I told magicians, like, come on over. This stage is for you. It's free. Just to use it. And nobody came. And it was a little bit strange. But I have this weird thing about there's this organization, there's this grouping, there's politics involved. And that kind of inspired me to create Magistrorum because there's no politics.
Right.
Nobody's talking trash. People are still talking trash, but they're not welcome. They sit on the side. But all magicians, all magic is welcome here, including those who are still being, have a title as being like, for example, witchcraft and things like that. I don't know if you know this, but Andruzzi was one of the fathers of this, heavily connected in the Wicca community, still holds some really amazing titles in that community. But
did you ever go to one of those early days of the Invocation when they had?
I kind of wanted to. I wish, but I didn't know about it back then. Mm-hmm. Larry Keane is the one that introduced me to actual bizarre magic.
Now, Larry Keane is not as well known in the magic community as he is within the bizarre community. Explain a little bit about who he is. Was
right. Well, first off, he was my mentor, and he introduced me to Andruzzi. So basically, he said, "Are you familiar, with not psychic, but." Seance magazine, God.
Okay.
Right? It's like the Bible of bizarre magic. And I said, yeah, I got that book. And I just, never really read it through and through. He's like, read it. Mm-hmm. Just read it. So I read just a few things, and I stopped because the author was Larry King, the one I was on. He didn't read the whole thing. And I said, you wrote this? He said, yeah, but I wrote it under a different synonym, He was known as the Traveler. And he had also Everett Bookings III, He wrote all these books, and I never knew. You don't know who these people are.
Right.
So from then on, I'm like, okay, I want to talk to you some more. So here are all these collections from the good glory days of Bizarre. You had Andruzzi's scroll, and Andruzzi's stuff, and Eugene's stuff, and the tapes of Cardor, of all these other people. Beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Because some of the things that they did were absolute terrifying. And I've spent a lot of time in haunted houses, building sets and designing things and illusions that I had a passion for it, But he was not that way. He was just a normal guy a master of identifying stones and gems, and but he did have this little twinkle in his eye when you said something spooky, you know. So yeah, he and I were really good friends.
And this convention is dedicated to him.
Yeah, it will always be dedicated to him. So I had another convention, the Arcane Summit, with Chris, and we did that for a couple of years, and we had a separation. Chris Ives.
Okay.
Yeah, and we separated, and he's still a good guy, you know. We just went different ways. So Larry inspired me. He said, if you want to have another convention, you have to make a decision now, and you have to do it now. So I got with Susan. I'm like, I'm going to do this. You know, I just have to, because this is the way the direction should go. So we did. We planned it out. Larry got with Susan, because not many magicians know this, the business part of it, and it's absolutely essential to save receipts. Because
good advice.
It's, oh my God, if there's any one thing, you know. So save the receipts, give them to your tax man in the end. Tell him you're a magician. It's extremely important, because you get the money back, and the more magic you spend, the more it comes back. Which is, I could have used that years ago. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is a bit of a tax write-off, but you don't get it all back, right? So Larry told me to start right away, and then a year later he passed. So, and that was really sad for me, because you know I didn't expect it. You know, Shelley didn't expect it.
That's his wife?
Yeah. And the first year that he was here, he suggested the people to bring in. So he said, bring in the authors of Seance Magazine. So I said, are they still around? I don't want to offend anybody. Are they still around? So I got in touch with as many people as I could. You know, Mark Edwards was there.
I was going to say Mark Edwards probably.
Strivings was there, but he didn't author anything, but he was a big part of it. Scott Davis came. We talked him into it. And then when Larry came, he said, you know, I haven't seen these people in over 30 years. You know? Scott Davis said the same thing. I haven't seen any of them.
It's kind of like home week.
Right. But, and they sat there on our stage, big panel here. Terry Tyson was also there. Terry's here every year. And Scott stood up there, gave a little speech, and he thanked us, because he hadn't come to a magic convention that long. You know, he had other careers and things he did. And he absolutely had no idea that the magic community still liked what he did. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's like the foundation of bizarre magic. It begins here. Bizarre magic. I'm sure if Andruzzi was here, we'd have him here too.
Sure.
Yeah, so many publications. Good side note. He had a box with him from the 1970s, sealed in his garage, just sitting there. Well kept, by the way. And he brought that box. He's like, I know for sure, I think I know what's in there. Extra copies of Seance. And then we had a box opening here, and sure enough, he ripped it open, opened it up. Staring him in the face was brand new, never opened, still shrink-wrapped issues of Seance hardcover books. He immediately sold them out. He sold that to everybody. Of course, right? Then I asked him, okay, can you sign it? Because everybody's here. Why don't we just sign it? You know? And he said, no. He said, I won't do that. I would never do that. Then he said, the best I can do is take a card, and I'll sign the card. You can put the card in the book, right? A day later, he's talking to all the magicians, reminiscing about the old times, seeing all the new people, talking to them. And he came up to me, he said, okay, let's sign the books. So they all sat in a round.
What was his hesitancy?
I think he didn't believe that people appreciated his work. I don't think he knew. You know, you write a book, you let it go.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. But they all sat in a round table, and he was the first, and he sat there signing books, one after another after another. Yeah. And then I got him to sign mine and different pages, and it gave me goosebumps to see it all happening, because I took pictures of it. You know, they're all sitting there. These guys, not in over 30 years, they're sitting here as friends. They started this whole thing. And then after the convention, nobody saw this, But you know, when you publish a book, you have like a manuscript. So he had a coil-bound manuscript.
Yeah, with a galley.
Yeah, right. And that's the one you sent to the publisher, but he got it back. He's like, I want you to have this because I love what you're doing. And I don't know what to say. I got choked up, you know.
Yeah, that's a precious artifact.
I was like, I'm holding this thing in my hand.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to take good care of this. So I built a shadow box and it's hanging on my wall now.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, Andrew, thanks very much for the stories and also for hosting the convention and what you and Susan have been doing. It's been a lot of fun and look forward. What are the dates next year, by the way?
So these convention will never change. It's always going to be at the same time, around the same time, and the same place. So, yeah, September-ish. I don't know what the dates are right now.
And so because we are at capacity right now, they'll probably, I guess, open an air wall or something, or they'll make this...
Yeah, the plan for next year is to open up the third section of this and to make it bigger. So we actually need vendors, and all kinds of magic is welcome. So, yeah, that's basically it.
Okay. Yeah. So all vendors are welcome, and the nice thing is dealers are free, right? I mean, dealers booth free?
Yeah, we're not changing anything. The dealers are always going to be free because we want them to give those discounts to the people. And we're basically looking for artisans that create their own magic. So they carry with them the discipline it took to make it, so you can learn from that.
And where can they get in touch with you to sign up or register or tell you?
Just go to the website. It's Magistrorum.net.
That's easy enough. Again, Andrew, thanks very much. I appreciate it. It's been great. And so for the Magic Word Podcast, that's the organizer and doing very well here this year. That was Andrew Derutter. This is Scotty out. We are winding things down with the afternoon show. We still got a few more things yet to go before the night is done. And I thought it's not complete to go to the Magistrorum if we don't get a chance to talk with my friend Saul Ravencraft. And here he is right now. Hey, Saul.
Hey, Scott.
Good to see you. You've been doing the music. You're the sound guy here.
Well, I'm the stage manager.
Yeah, stage manager, basically. Okay.
What that means is that I coordinate all of the supportive elements for the performer. So getting their stage set the way that getting the stage built and designed, getting the stage set for each of the 17 sets that we are doing throughout the convention, making sure that the lighting is designed correctly. I ended up being light designer as well as stage manager, coordinating with our sound person and our follow spot person and our supplemental stage support people so that when an act goes on, the audience is going to get the best show that they can.
How much of this did you have to prepare beforehand as opposed to, I would imagine most everything is like the last minute, oh, by the way, I need such and such. But
so we started coordinating early on. I was moved into the stage management role about a week and a half to 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So I had to jump on it.
So you haven't done it, you weren't here the last 2 years doing this, huh?
No.
Okay.
But I've done a lot of show production and stage management stuff, so it's not my first rodeo. But they had some information that they had amassed in a spreadsheet, but I designed my run of show book, which is a binder that this one came out to be about 65 pages, which is 2 facing pages for each thing that's going on. It has a diagram, which is a stage plot, which shows where everything goes. It has supplemental notes about things we need to section for sound, and some blank space to scribble on things as we change things. Some things like Jeff McBride, it's not his first rodeo either.
Right.
He had a very detailed list of requirements, and everything was very structured and laid out. We still had to rehearse it very carefully, but we had a lot of preparation. So as I was building the design, I was able to incorporate aspects that I knew he needed. And others have said, oh, I don't need anything.
I was going to say, just like give me a full wash and just a regular wireless mic and I'm done.
Well, and I know that a lot of performers, something I've said to several performers is, please do not shield me from complexity.
Okay.
Right? We got people who really know what they're doing. And so if you want a full wash for your seance.
Yeah.
We can do that, but we also have worked very hard to create a diverse environment so that every act can look and feel different.
Right.
And if you're a performer, I really encourage you to learn some stagecraft and use those elements, because I tell you, Jeff McBride used them to full capacity in his performance, and you saw it.
I did.
And you experienced what happened. And that, when you move into I mean, if you're in a restaurant or a place where you don't have control over the environment, then you gotta be flexible. You gotta do what you gotta do.
It's true.
But when you have an environment where you can use these things, man, it makes so much difference when you do.
It really does. And I would imagine, of course, the venues where Jeff has worked, from Radio City Music Hall to casinos in Las Vegas and every place, just has a great AV department to handle whatever they want. And so he knows what he wants and what light he needs to make him look the best. Right.
But also, anytime a stage is built, and I think of this with other conventions, often a lot of work goes into designing the performance space, but it's not always utilized. I probably get a little outside of my job description by nudging people
and
to
recommending such and such.
Yeah, let's do some things to enhance what you're doing. But that stagecraft, that understanding of what you can do on a stage, and what the stage can do for you, that's wonderful. But my job has been getting here at 7, staying till the end, helping people coordinate their needs and make sure everything is right during the point where other people are taking breaks and doing the dealer room. And it's a lot.
Have you been enjoying the convention, aside from all the work and everything and little sleep that you've been getting? Have you been enjoying it?
Well, I've been enjoying seeing people enjoy the shows, but most of my focus has been heads down on preparing everything so that the next round of things...
You're seeing a different pair of glasses, basically, than what most of us do. Yeah,
and it's not... It's a different style of enjoyment. I don't get to participate in the same way that everybody does. But what drives me to do this is I know what's possible in the setting that we have, what can be done to enhance things, how to get everything accurate, because I've done this for a while.
Have you been at other Magistrorums, or is this your first?
I've been to all of them.
Okay.
And I'm typically one of the first persons to get a ticket.
Okay, which I'm not surprised. Have you been to the East Coast Magic or the Spirit Sessions? I've
not had the opportunity. Travel outside of Texas can be challenging at this stage of my path.
Okay. Well, I do enjoy the things you're doing. Saul Ravencraft's damn show that you do. Tell a little bit about that.
Oh my gosh. It's mystery, it's variety, it's music, it's comedy, it's Pee-wee's Playhouse of the Damned. It's a collection of misfits trying to create a space where everyone can come and be.
Yeah.
And the first show we did, someone in the audience said, "Oh, this feels like old Austin."
Interesting.
And if you know what old Austin means, you know how much that touched my heart.
Okay.
But we've been really pleased with what we've done. Every show has been different. Every show has been new.
Right.
And it's fun to be able to pull together the unnatural assembly of players and create something that is... It's not burlesque. It's not a magic show. It's not anything that fits in a particular bucket.
It doesn't. It's something different than I've seen before. And do you always conclude with your readings, by the way, then too?
So far, yes.
Okay.
And that's something that I tend to do in a lot of performance situations, is the whole goal of where we're headed is to see if we can create the space where we can do spirit readings.
Yeah, right? And now also you have then what used to be Doc's Drive-In that you would go, what is that called, with the movies we just went to see,
so
Blackula?
We have Ravencraft's Vault of Horror.
Vault of Horror.
And we were doing a couple of locations. We did an experiment of a drive-in theater, which ran its course, did it for about a year or two, and it was fun to do. But we're focusing on the pub, Mr. Tramp's, which has a wonderful viewing room. It's a little bit more intimate. And what we do is I pick horror films that I like.
Yeah.
And they'll range. The very first one we saw was White Zombie with Bela Lugosi, which is a good movie.
Well, what I like about, again, the Blackula was the first one I went to, but I assume that you do this for all, and that is you have done a lot of research and you find some reviews or things that people talk about the movie, and I'm sure you had things about Bela Lugosi. The next one we're going to be seeing is going to be The Revenge of the Body Snatchers.
Yes.
So I'm sure there's a lot of backstory about that you'll be talking about then.
Well, and to me...
It's not just showing the movies, what I'm saying.
No, it's not. I have a deep love for this genre of film. And if you think about it, any film that you see is a miracle. Mm-hmm. Getting a film completed to the point that you can roll the credits is hard.
Takes years.
And sometimes doesn't happen. A lot of times doesn't happen.
Right, for a variety of reasons.
And then once the film is completed and you can roll the credits, getting it distributed to a point that you get to see it is another miracle.
Yeah.
So even the worst movie you have ever seen is a miracle. Right?
Yeah. Plan 9 from outer space, yeah.
There's love and there's honor for making art in that. And a lot of people don't have awareness, especially nowadays. It's amazing people that are not familiar with films that are even more than 20 years old.
Yeah.
And there's so much that went into the inspiration and the creation of these things, and the stories around them, the crazy stuff that
and
is
the technology then versus now.
The technology and the points where the old school stuff outshines the newer stuff.
The CGI, better than CGI, yeah.
Right? And I want people to feel the same level of love. You talked about Blackula, the one that we wrote, and it's from that blaxploitation era, which is a terrible phrase for what this era is. But it was the rise of black filmmakers deciding to use their own voice and their own stories, and pardon me. Give you an edit point.
Just rather than being like stereotypical kind of way that they had been portrayed, they were making their own statements.
They were telling their own stories in their own way. You can draw a direct line from Blackula, the first fully black-produced, directed, written, acted story. Horror story.
Because there were others.
You can draw a direct line from that film to the work that Jordan Peele is doing, which is extraordinary. Right? I remember watching the last act of Nope.
Yeah.
And I noticed that I wasn't breathing. And I turned to my wife and I said,
Get Out also.
I have no idea what's about to happen. And I loved that.
Yeah.
He was showing me something.
Take you to a different direction. It was not what I was expecting.
Never seen it before. And Blackula did the same thing. It was the first film I'd seen that really brought out that romance idea, which was later done in Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula, where they focused on the romantic aspect there.
Right.
And at the end of Blackula, you feel regret. I was kind of rooting for him.
Different kind of emotion. Well, you've been working on a lot of things. That's why I wanted to just briefly kind of see this. I mean, if you want to hear more, you should go back, and then I suggest you listen to an episode where Saul and I had spoken in detail. We had a full episode. We sat down for about an hour and chatted. But I'm just glad to see you here, and you're involved with Magistrorum and helping to make this sound, look, and feel like the way that it should, and you're doing a great job. So,
well, it's a lot of work, but I hope that it's paying off for your experience.
It is, and everybody I'm talking to are just having a great time, and they're going to be signing up again, and I think next year's going to be an even larger convention yet, and in part because of being able to see and hear what you're doing.
If you can't see and hear, there's no point.
Well, then why have it? Exactly right. So we're the Magic Word Podcast. That was Saul Ravencraft. Thanks, Saul. Appreciate it, buddy. This is Scotty out. So as we start to kind of wind things down, I think it's appropriate we talk with the guest of honor, at least briefly here. You can hear more of him later in an episode we recorded, but here he is, Jeff McBride. Hello, Jeff.
Yeah,
hello.
Well, I really enjoyed it. I want to ask you, you've been coming to Magistrorum the last couple of years.
No, this is my first one.
This is the first
one?
Oh, really?
I mean, I went to Pose when I was with you.
Right, because I hear every year this has been growing. They had 250 people here this year.
Amazing.
So, yeah. And
a lot of interest in this kind of topic.
And the dealer's room, I'm usually not impressed with dealer's rooms, but they had so many artisans that make their own crafts and curiosities. I was really impressed with that. And all of the shows here are one-man or one-person shows, because there's a lot of lady magicians on the bills as well. But I preferred it to gala shows, the one person, because they could really stretch out and create their own mood and their own dynamic. So this convention is unlike any other convention I really went to, and it's growing. And I would recommend people coming here if they can pronounce it.
That's a good point. Did he explain, that is Andrew Derutter, the organizer, what the word Magistrorum means?
Yes, it came from Larry Kuhn, right? Mm-hmm. And it's gathering of magi.
Okay.
And
that's right up your line.
Yes, it is. Well, Eugene Berger was one of the masters of the bazaar and seance, and I studied with him for over 30 years, and I carry a lot of his teachings with me, so this is a place to pass them on and to keep the names alive.
And you did a workshop also, had a lot of people, I guess, last night?
I had 50 people at my workshop last night for 3 hours. And I like doing late-night workshops. Eugene Berger would, when he performed at conventions, would do a midnight talk. Mm-hmm. He used to do a midnight talk. Now, I don't start that late.
We're getting older, man.
Yes.
Well, of course, he was old, I guess, time then, too, though.
And, I did a 3-hour workshop last night. I did a lecture. I did a show. It was they had me working.
Man, you earn your money. Jeff, always good seeing you, my friend. Thank you very much for making this convention
We'll see you
special.
at the next one.
You betcha. So, the Magic Word Podcast, that was Jeff McBride. Scotty out. It is the fourth and final day of the convention here at Magistrorum in Dallas, and I want to kind of make sure that I got everything all included, including the last couple of things. Well, really just one thing that was here this morning, but we didn't get a chance really to talk much about last evening's show, and I'm here this morning with James Cox, who's going to kind of help me do a little bit of a wrap here. So good morning, James.
Good morning.
And I'm glad have you come to the Magistrorum in the past? You've been to both of them. This is your third one?
This is my second one. I was here last year. That was my first one. Yeah.
And you enjoyed it so much you came back again this year?
Absolutely, yes.
What was it that impressed you the most so far this year at this convention?
This year was I guess you might say the level of talent. We had Jeff McBride, Paul Draper, Terry Tyson. Those are the three main reasons that I came back this year. But then also for the camaraderie and, I guess, you say just the friendly environment of fellow magicians, yeah.
It is a different vibe here and a different group of people who would normally attend a magic convention. And just by their dress, you can tell that everybody is kind of one mind. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it was very interesting, and it was fun, and
the dealers have something different.
Oh yeah, 100%. They have all kinds of things for everybody, really. Storytelling, mentalism, bazaar. So there's a little bit for everybody, and I think it's great if somebody is considering coming to this next year and they're just, well, that's not really my thing. That's what I thought, but there's something for everybody. So. It's perfect.
Yep, people came from across the United States, and then the furthest is the fellow who came from Sweden, who had the medal writing. He was a dealer, and I think he did very well, with that then too.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And this year they had given us the opportunity to attend master classes with Jeff McBride and Terry Tyson.
And I want to talk about that in just a second.
Okay.
I want to just wrap up real quickly about from yesterday afternoon and the things that had happened there, so this way that we kind of make sure we cover everything. And we had Remy Connor, who after Jeff McBride had performed, and Remy appeared to be more of a street magician. He had a very nice look on stage, a lot of energy, and kept things moving along, and was seen to be kind of a highlight that a lot of people liked. Then later we had Crispy Knight. We talked a little bit about him, I think, in which, did you see Crispy's show? I missed that show.
I didn't see it, but I saw him last year, and it was the same show.
It's a sideshow act where he's throwing knives at balloons and had the blade box. I think talked with someone about this a little bit earlier. So
yeah, and sticking hooks in himself and all kinds of stuff like that. So.
Yeah, somebody was saying that last year he was stapling bills to.
That's what it was, stapling bills. If you gave him a $1 bill, it was, I guess, on his body, or if a 5 was on his arm, and if you give him anything above a 10 or 20, it was on his scalp. So I saw that. That was pretty intense.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then we had Ari Rose, who was a very energetic young lady. It was interesting with her show. I think she's got some great potential then for the future. We closed out the evening. We hadn't talked about this one yet. As I said, we talked about some of those others that I just mentioned, but we hadn't talked about Rocco Cult. And Rocco is the one who works with Ari Rose, and they had a dealer's room there also. And apparently he had already scripted his show and hadn't gone to Jeff McBride's lecture earlier in the day, who was saying that you do not open your show by saying, "How's everybody doing tonight?" And that's the first thing that he said, and it kind of, I without going into a lot of detail, I'd say that the best part of the show was that it was short, so we didn't have to suffer too long. It was, and I say that because it was not the best choice for the closing act of a convention as great as this convention was. He could have been placed earlier on and then moved somebody else to the later evening show.
Sure, yeah.
But you didn't see that one because you went.
I really wasn't interested in,
Yeah, but you went then to the Jeff McBride workshop, and before that, did you go to the Terry Tyson workshop on that? So tell me a little bit about both of those.
So I went to Terry Tyson's workshop on Thursday evening, and on how to create your own seance, and it was everything from the ground up, how to select a venue and how to approach potential people to do seances, equipment and props and all that stuff. He included all that in his lecture, and he went into really, really good detail about that, and that was just an incredible wealth of knowledge that he gave us for anybody interested in doing their own seance.
Are you thinking about doing it now, or were you thinking about it before, but now you're going to do it for sure, or what?
Well, so I've been thinking about it, and then when I found out that he was going to be here to put that masterclass on, I 100% said, okay, yeah, I'm interested in doing that. So, and he's also told me that he'll help kind of guide me even after the convention. If I have any questions, reach out to him, and yeah, he'll follow up.
Great guy.
He is.
So there were more people who, I think that was limited to 12 people or so?
12 people, yes.
And he was the 13th that kind of came in, I guess, to complete the circle for the seance. But Jeff McBride's was open to more people. I think that had about 50 people or so who attended last night.
Yeah, somewhere around there, and he didn't have a cutoff on his, but yeah, it was about a half full room there, so it was quite a few people there.
Some people brought their act to perform, and then they kind of talked about that and brushed up. I said some people brought their act, I guess, and had performed their act, and so that way you had a little feedback on that. I was talking with Letitia and Daniel. They said they were going to do something that was a show, and they were going to a show. They had a trick that they were going to bring and do. Did they perform something then? Do you remember that?
Not in Jeff's lecture, no. Okay. It was just Jeff. Okay. He taught us a few tricks. Some great mentalism stuff that we could take home, and it was exclusive to the people who attended his lecture. So that was really, really great. He gave us advice on how to make your audience, how to give them a role, how to make them feel like they're not just there watching, but they're actually part of the show, and that itself is worth the price of admission.
To bring people more in and on the stage, so they break that fourth wall better.
Yes, not necessarily on the stage, but bring them as close to the front as possible, and so they're all involved. But you create a dynamic, so they know that they're not just there watching, but they also have a role in the show. Like they can cheer and they could, let out. Exactly, yes.
Yeah, he did teach his way of using his fans to applaud and all that then too.
He didn't go over that. He just kind of touched on it. He did a callback to when he did his opening show, what the fans and he asked us basically, from the moment he came in to the moment he started the show, were you guys active? And yeah, absolutely. And he said that's the thing is you bring them immediately into the show and make them feel like they're part of it by having them clap and having them cheer and it brings the excitement up in the room.
Yeah, right. Well, then we kind of had, while you were doing that, some of the others were out sessioning or having a drink at the bar or whatever. It was kind of a late night for other people, but not as late as what yours was. Went on to about, 1 o'clock, I guess, or so?
A little bit after midnight.
Okay. And then this morning we had Weibo, who is a clown, but not your typical clown. He remind me of the insane clown posse, of somebody who is just bizarre kind of a look that he has.
Yeah, that was definitely bizarre. I think you have to probably go to church after watching something like that.
Yeah, when he had this staff to begin with that had a skeleton head on it, and then he tapped it, and then all the cane or the staff on the floor, and then it changed to like a devil's head, and then everybody started applauding. I'm thinking, are we applauding for the devil here, or what are we doing? It's weird.
It was, definitely a acquired taste.
It's true. Most of the things he was doing were dealer items, but he had his own twist on that of just kind of a bizarre thing, and it looked like he had a direction he wanted to go to, but going back to what I said about Rocco, it was not scripted. It just sounded like, okay, I've got an outline kind of where I want to go, and I'm going to get there eventually and bring you along for the ride. And we got enough time for another one and whatever. So, But it was something different and appropriate and suitable for this crowd, I think, as well.
100%, yeah.
And then at the end, then Andrew and Susan said goodbye. Thanks for coming. And then they had 2 extra chairs for the people a couple of guys who had passed, Larry Keene, and who was the other one, you remember?
I honestly don't remember.
I don't remember the other fellow, but they put their photos on the chair and said thanks a lot. So going to be coming back next year. So you're going to be here next year?
I will be next year, yes, here next year. Just to touch on that part about the 2 chairs for those 2 people who passed away, I think it was really, you could see in Andrew's eyes that it meant a lot to him to pay tribute, and it's just, you can see how emotionally connected he is to this convention. It's not like any other Magic convention around at all. It just feels like family, and it was just a very touching scene, to have him pay respect to those 2 that passed away and weren't here, and you can tell that it was hard for him to end the convention.
That's true. Yeah, because he sounds like lives and breathes it throughout the rest of the year, because he has, I guess, a forum that he hosts, and they have other things they do in conjunction with this online throughout the rest of the year.
Yes. So definitely I'll be back next year, and it feels, I was telling Susan, Andrew's wife, that it feels like we're leaving summer camp after leaving your friends. That's what it feels like. That's honestly how it feels. It's 4 days, but it feels like 2 weeks. I mean, it just feels like a lot more time than that.
We spent. One more thing that he said, Andrew had said, is that the dealers are free and always will be. We're never going to be charging for dealers, because we feel like that they should be passing on whatever savings they had for paying for a booth in discounts, perhaps, to the people who are coming in as a vendor. So I think that's great.
Sure, and a lot of the vendors were very, very generous. This morning I was looking for a small little bag, little, what do you call it, the velvet?
The drawstring bag.
Velvet drawstring bag for an effect with some coins, and went up to Lucchini, Mr. Lucchini. I can't remember his first name, but I asked him how much it was, and I saw it said $4, and he's like, "Oh, don't worry about it, take it." He's like, "I have a lot of them," and so I noticed that with the other vendors, a lot of them were giving out really good discounts and sometimes extra items, because like you said, they're past that along the generosity from Andrew to their customers. So
Right. Well, overall, again, a great convention, and that's kind of a wrap on this year. So, James, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, Scott. I appreciate it. It's nice meeting you.
Thank you. So, the Magic Word Podcast. That was James Cox, and again, that's a wrap from the Magistrorum 2025. This is Scotty out.